Reggae pop in the form of Paro Banton and Groove In. Shapur Kotwal is back for the attack. He's deputy editor, Autocar India magazine, editor, WhatCar magazine.
94.3.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
So, buddy, this is a disclaimer before we start. This is not one of Shapur's regular reviews. It's just a very interesting story about a hypercar. I mean, who in his right mind would go out and buy a 23 crore car? But and now you're going to say you'll be surprised.
You'll be surprised. And you didn't say it right. It's 23 crores without duty.
Without the duty.
Without the duty. So it's considered as as something like a unicorn or something of the supercar world. And it's going to cost 23 crores. It's going to be made by Aston Martin and the Red Bull Formula One team together. The guy driving the project, engineering side of it, is one of the legends of Formula One. His name is Adrian Newey. He's an aerodynamicist by profession. That means he uses the air around the car to make it go faster, to make it more stable, to stuff like that. All the crazy stuff that we see in F1.
Now, this is the Aston Martin and Red Bull Valkyrie that he's talking about, Shapur.
Valkyrie.
The Valkyrie. I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
So it's Valkyrie.
Yeah.
My God, it looks like a beast, and it looks like actually from the back like a catamaran.
It is. He wants that effect because he wants it to, just as a catamaran is very efficient hydrodynamically, this one is efficient through the air. So it's basically two structures, where the wheels are, and in the middle, suspended somewhere halfway, is a pod where the passengers sit. And just behind that will be the engine. So it's a very radical sort of thinking, but he's pushing the car or the supercar to the limit. The claim that they make is it will be as quick around a Formula One circuit as a Formula One car, and that is an absolutely mind-blowing claim. It just you cannot imagine the kind of performance the car will have to have, and but when this man who is the god of Formula One car design, when he says it's going to be that, it's going to be 95% at least, and even that will be incredible.
Well, in an article that you've written, you've quoted Andy Palmer, who's the Aston boss, and he says, quote unquote, it will lap the Silverstone Formula One circuit as fast as an F1 car. My oh my, that's saying something. Shapur's on Twitter at Shapur K. So back for more conversation right after this, no doubt, and hey baby. No doubt, hey baby, this is amazing. It's a hyper car called the Valkyrie. Shapur Kotwal is giving me the lowdown on this one, and fabulous.
94.3.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
So Shapur, the creative director of exterior design at Aston Martin is Miles Nunberger. He'll have to pardon us for any faults in pronunciation. And he's quite a character, isn't he? Yeah?
He is. And he's got a fabulous story to tell about how they put together the design of this car. In fact, they were so serious about the aerodynamics, they actually split the car in two. And he told them, the lower half of the car is mine. You guys can design the top half. It's incredible. So when you see the car, you see these slick looking haunches and rounded shoulders and really smooth looking top half, and then the bottom is full of all these vents and vanes and scoops and spoilers, and it's all to manage the air, as they say. I
highly recommend you guys go buy the October edition of the Autocar India magazine, because Shapur's written a piece in which Miles says on the top we have quote unquote form by nature, and the lower half is quote unquote control in nature. How cool is that? So obviously, with all these inputs coming in, it's a whole new DNA, and almost like a sign of things to come.
Yes, it is for Aston, because Aston is this old jacket and trousers and pipe British sports car brand, which is very laid back, and of course they're a sports car, but by sports car standards they're very laid back and relaxed, and GT, like what they call Gran Turismo, more touring car, not hyper performance. And here you have this world of Formula One where every millisecond makes a difference, and the two coming together. So of course they're going to influence each other in ways you never know.
But is it a car for big people? Because I remember you saying there's a pod, but it does seat two people.
It does.
And you've got to be literally shoulder to shoulder, yeah?
Absolutely. You've got to be shoulder to shoulder. And Miles here and the chief designer is 6'2" and 6'4". So they said, let's make sure we fit, at least our heads fit. and although the shoulder room is tight, but two of these guys can fit. I believe getting in is like strapping into a fighter jet, where you got to be lower yourself down, stand on the seat, and then get in, just like in a sports car or some.
And then your feet are up.
Exactly, it's the they call it the prone driving position that you have in a Formula One car, because the nose of these cars are so high, again for aerodynamics, so that you get that clean airflow as the nose cuts the air. So your legs need to be up there because there's no other space.
Talk about precision. They actually dropped a bit of a jewelry, handmade piece done by some jewelers in Birmingham.
Yeah, that's their logo.
Because they wanted to make it lightweight.
Absolutely. In fact, they've reduced the size so much. They've taken out 98% of the weight of the logo of their car. They're that crazy about it. And the story goes that if you put the new badge in your hand, you can't feel it. It's so light.
More with Shapur up ahead. A last leg of conversation. Your website, please.
Autocarindia.com. You can go and have a look at the most attractive looking cars in the world.
Messages and back. Maroon 5 and Za, What Lovers Do. Shapur Kotwal, Deputy Editor, Autocar India Magazine, Editor, WhatCar Magazine, here for the Valkyrie. And this is not a review, the Valkyrie story. Aston Martin, Red Bull coming together to put out the supercar, aka hypercar.
94.3. This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
You've said, tongue in cheek, its engine makes, quote unquote, only 1,145 HP.
Yes.
Is that a headline number for a hypercar? I think
no.
not.
In today's day and age, it's more like 1,500 horsepower, and with all the electric cars coming in, it's going to 1,800 and 2,000, and all sorts of.
So what's the
figures.
tech that's driving this?
First of all, it's all carbon fiber, so it's actually not the power that determines performance. It's power to weight ratio. So it's the amount of power you need to push that vehicle which weighs X amount. So when it comes to power to weight, it's incredible, and it has this massive 12-cylinder engine. This is the only sort of old school part of it. They've got this massive 12-cylinder engine that puts out all this power with a curve system that's like a hybrid drive, like you have in Formula 1, exactly the same. So you don't waste power when you're braking or slowing down. It's all recuperated via the braking system and the e-motors, and that's what gives it the performance. But what the Valkyrie will also have is a couple of banned technologies that are not there in F1 anymore.
Not allowed to use it
exactly
anymore.
So the first one is called an active suspension. So the suspension reacts to the road before you come to the situation. So it's reacting to stuff you have from the road. It's instead of when you go down a corner, the car won't lean over, it will balance itself. And the second one is called ground effects, and this is the next level for normal aerodynamics, where the car is almost like sealed onto the road. So this car can run at maybe 120 or 130 mm of ground clearance, or it can go down to like 10 or 20 mm, which is like for the track, and that's when the ground effects start working. So the car gets sucked onto the road when you're at speed. So imagine you're doing like 250, and the faster you go, the more it gets sucked down to the road. So this is a technology that's banned in Formula 1 for many years now, but of course he's going to exploit every weapon he has to get that speed. Adrian.
7-speed automatic gearbox, and this is designed and built by Ricardo, the British firm.
Yeah, absolutely. Ricardo has become a sort of expert in gearboxes, especially for these sort of extreme users, and they've apparently said, with today, in normal cars like a C-Class Mercedes having 9 speeds, is 7 speeds enough? But there's so much power and performance there, you don't need the 9 ratios. It just becomes too heavy. So again, we have this focus on weight again. Why have extra gear ratios? You don't need it. Chop it down to 7.
I believe a couple of the Formula 1 guys got in, and they had
they have a very, very strong collaboration with Red Bull. They're doing it together, and of course then the drivers would their inputs would be taken, because these guys are at the cutting edge, driving the cars the hardest in the races. So they've been used for the fitting just to see whether it's comfortable enough to drive. It's not too extreme an environment, and both of them have actually put down their own money for the car. You can imagine now how rich the Formula 1 drivers are. So
Shapur, your TV show timings, please.
9:30 in the morning, Sunday. Times now, the best time to catch all the new cars on our market.
See you soon, buddy. Cheers. 5 seconds of summer, Valentine.